This is Pet Life Radio. Let's talk pets.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Groomer Humor on Pet Life Radio. As always, we are your hosts. I'm Rudy V, along with Anthony Ray. First and foremost, we want to thank our producer, Mark Winter, and Pet Life Radio for giving us the opportunity. And we want to thank each and every one of you guys out there for tuning in and listening to us. In this episode, we're going to be talking about getting bitten in the grooming shop. Yeah, it happens, guys. It happens a lot. You got to be careful as a dog groomer. We're also going to be talking about some ways of how to prevent getting bitten, or at least limit it. With that being said, we also have our very funny comment of the week. We got all that and much, much more coming up on this episode of Groomer Humor.
It's designerpetsweaters.com. Hand-knitted designer sweaters for your precious pup or cool cat. Beautiful couture patterns for your pets, including custom-knitted formal wear, casual wear, yachting, and even sports-themed. Many designer pet sweaters include feathered tammy hats, top hats, and a lot of sparkle. Each sweater includes leg loops, front paw sleeves, and leash opening. Visit designerpetsweaters.com to order your four-legged fashions today. Large or small, we fit them all. designerpetsweaters.com.
Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back to Groomer Humor, guys. Once again, we are your hosts. I'm Rudy V, along with my son, Anthony Ray. And we, as we said, are talking about getting bitten in the grooming shop. But before we get into that, I want to say hi to Anthony. Hi, Ant. What's going on?
Nothing much. Recovering from Super Bowl Sunday still. Still a little foggy.
Talk about getting bitten, huh?
Yeah. Ooh. That was a long night. Fun. Good times, though.
Yeah. I like Shakira. Shakira.
Yeah.
That girl can move, man.
Yes, she can. She can. I like Shakira.
Yeah. J-Lo was okay, but I was kind of like, can we see Shakira again?
Well, you know what it is? J-Lo, she's a good dancer, and she barely danced. It was more like she was getting carried around a lot.
Yeah, she gets carried around.
Put her down. Put her down.
The one dude looked like he was struggling a little bit. Then the one scene, carrying her from point A to point B. But
exactly.
Hey, listen, she's getting up there. Sure. Cut her a break. She was good too.
Of course she was good. It's just like the best part was there was like one part at the end when her and Shakira both danced at the same time. It's like the whole thing should have been that.
Yeah.
Just put J-Lo down and let her dance because you know what I mean? But
right. Yeah.
No,
it was down.
It was actually one of the better halftime shows, to be honest, because a lot of times I don't like them. I'm not usually a big fan of the halftime shows lately. I don't know why. I just feel like they've been more like, oh, look at how big we can make this look, as opposed to like an actual performance. But that was good. I like that one because they're dancers and you could always dance. I heard that they always lip sync during the Super Bowl because of the way it sounds. It wouldn't sound good live, apparently. So the lip syncing is fine, but you can't lip sync dance. That's why I was like, that was actually a pretty good Super Bowl show because they could dance. They were dancing really good.
Her hips don't lie. I mean, that's just
no.
That's for sure.
Don't lie.
Hey, baby, when you talk like that,
wow.
You make a woman go mad.
Dude, we could have Shakira on the show. Just pretend to be her. That's a really good impression.
Thanks.
Yeah. All we have to do is pretend like she sings all of her answers to our questions. So Shakira, where are you from? I was born in Puerto Rico. I don't know where she's from.
Colombia.
Colombia?
Yeah. A lot of other things come out of Colombia too.
Yeah, corn.
Anyway, corn, produce, fresh.
You know what? I don't even know if corn comes from.
I don't know.
You know what I know? I know dogs. That's all I know. I know dogs.
That's it. Let's get into dogs here. We were talking about getting bitten. We were just discussing this the other day because I got bitten. So, and we're like, you know what? This is going to be the next show. Yeah, it's kind of, listen, if you're going to choose to be a dog groomer, you have to expect to get bitten once in a while. It's kind of like, you're not going to be playing with snakes and not get bitten, or, kind of being an alligator hunter or something and not lose a limb from time to time.
A limb from time to time. That's something you kind of want to avoid altogether.
Yeah, when I see some of that stuff, it's kind of like, I'm glad I'm a dog groomer. But let me tell you, man, getting bitten by a dog, it can be bad. It can, I've seen groomers get bitten up so bad that they just say, hey, you know what? I'm done with this. I'm not doing this no more.
I've been bit in the face on multiple occasions.
Yeah, because you stick your face in the dog's face too much. And I tell you all the time, Anthony, don't put your dog in this face. Don't put your face in this dog's face. And you do it anyway.
Well, I always try to give the dogs the benefit of the doubt. I know it's a weakness, but sometimes it's so undeserved, though. Remember that Cairn Terrier? He was kissing me.
I know.
He was being so sweet, wagging his tail, and he was kissing me, and then he bites me in the cheek. It's like, hey, dude.
Very deceptive.
That was so deceptive.
Yeah.
That's not fair.
That isn't fair. I have to agree with you there. That's not fair.
Yeah.
Shakira wouldn't think it was fair. That's not fair. She just
bit it in the face.
But yeah, here's the thing. One of the things that you can do to help yourself out is know about that dog. You got to know, especially when groomers get like a new client. The first thing that we usually like to do is find out as much as you can about that dog. And I come right out and say, hey, listen, is there anything I should know about your dog? Do I have to worry about your dog biting me for any reason? And sometimes people will be honest. In most cases, people will be honest and they'll say, oh, yeah, he doesn't like his face being done, or he doesn't like his paws being done, or he hates his nails being clipped, and this sort of thing. And it's, greatly appreciated when a customer says that. Other customers, they don't want to have you label their dog as being a bad dog. Nobody wants to have a bad child. And that's understandable. But when that happens, a lot of times you're kind of just going by, experience. And now you have to try to do the dog to find out whether or not the dog is going to try to bite you. The one thing that bothers me a lot is when people say, oh, my dog doesn't bite, and I didn't even ask you yet.
That usually tells you right there your dog does bite.
Exactly.
I didn't ask you about if your dog bites or not.
Exactly. I'm always leery of the person that comes and says, my dog doesn't bite. Oh, I didn't even ask you, though, yet. Well, so you're kind of implementing yourself there. And it's really, really a tough situation, especially when you have a new client, because you really have to test that dog out and see if the dog bites, and you have to work slowly when you get a new client. But knowing your dog is very, very important. And also, on top of knowing your dog, you can even have a dog that you know, right, Anthony? We've had this experience where it's like, we know the dog and we've been grooming it for a really long time, but all of a sudden, like, I go to pick up a paw and do a pad, and the dog comes around and tries to bite me. And this could be a dog that has never tried to bite me, but all of a sudden came around. And this is usually a case where maybe something happened. The dog could have twisted a knee, or the dog could have pulled a nail out or cut its pad. You never know what's going on. Again, you got to be careful with these things. And let's say, we've been in situations like this, right, Aunt, where, we have a dog that usually just never bites or something. And all of a sudden, dog comes around and I go, hey, Aunt, she came around on me. Be careful with that leg. I think her leg might be bothering her, or knee. And, in the grooming shop, you got to communicate like that. Talk it up in the infield. You know what I'm saying? Because why wouldn't you say that to your bather? If you didn't say it to your bather, and now your bather goes to lift the leg or something like that, and now your bather just got bitten because you didn't say something, so it's communication in the grooming shop. Very, very important.
Yeah, you do that for me all the time. A couple times a week at least, you'll say, anything, something as simple as, hey, Aunt, be careful. This dog's favoring that left leg a little bit. Just be careful in the tub. One of the biggest things you ever tell me is don't lift that leg. And it's not even because you got bit or anything, but you felt something a little bit like, the dog was pulling away on it, and you could just tell something might be up with that leg, so you tell me before I bathe the dog, don't lift that leg. And then lo and behold, later on, the customer picks up and says, oh yeah, they fell the other day or something like that.
And tell you.
Yeah, I forgot to tell you. I'm so sorry. And it's like, so you have to be very, very careful. And it really is, communication is key as the customer, if you can, to save the extra step And just to be safe, if you can, if there's ever something, even if it's a small little update in the morning when you drop off or however you do it, make sure the groomers know, especially if something big happened, if the dog had surgery or something like that. And, always let the groomer know as much as you can, even if the groomers know your dog for years, definitely give us a little updates just so we know.
Sure. Dog could have like an inner ear infection that you don't see. You go to clean the ear out and all of a sudden, the dog's just going for you right away because it just hurt him as you're trying to clean out the ear. So yeah, it just happens a lot. Again, as dog groomers, it's part of the risk of the job. Does it happen a lot? Because, we get this question. We always get this, do you guys get bitten? I don't know why it's always a burnout asking. How many times did you guys get bitten today? So, well, I wouldn't want to get bitten. Do you guys get bitten?
Sometimes you get the whole, how'd you get bitten? You're a dog groomer.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and, I got bitten because I am a dog groomer.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, it happens a lot. So that's the whole point of this episode right here, is because we get that question so much. Did you guys get bitten? Yeah, we do. Is it often though? No, it's really not. I have to say, man, I would say, what do you think? And 90% of the dogs that come in don't bite. And if they do, it's kind of like what we're talking, it's isolated. It's because of maybe they don't like their nails clipped. So you have to kind of figure out what the dog doesn't like. And, okay, like let's say a dog who just hates its nails being clipped. It's a very common thing. A lot of dogs just hate that part of the grooming. So you muzzle it for the nails. You know what I mean? What I like to do is save it for last. Do everything else first and then save the nails for last, because my motto is, why upset the dog right up front? You know what I mean? Yeah. Do everything you have to do. If you know that the dog doesn't like its nails being done or its ears being done, whatever it doesn't like that has the potential of biting you, you wait and then, you muzzle the dog. And then you do it real quick and take the muzzle off,
Yeah, there's a lot of that. Definitely not often that you get bit, because as groomers, and again, it gets easier as you get to know dogs more, but you always definitely have to be careful with the turning points. And by turning points, I mean there's times in a dog's life where they go from never being a biter to, they just went for me. Yeah. And in my opinion, that's three things. Number one, as the dog gets older, all of a sudden they might not want you going near their mouth because their teeth start to rot a little bit sometimes, and now boom, it's hurting them. Second one would be the belly. A lot of times as dogs get a little older, or just randomly throughout their lives, they could have a little bit of bloating, and now a dog that you usually would pick up by kind of scooping their stomach up, all of a sudden give you a little yelp or a bite. Oh my God, what happened? They got some bloating, you didn't notice it. And then the third also obviously being the legs. A lot of times dog will dive off the couch, maybe hurt their joint a little bit like that, and now a dog that never bit you when you raise their leg, now all of a sudden they're going for you. So you got to be careful. That's why when people say, my dog's not a biter, it's like, okay, but until further notice.
Right.
And any dog can bite. You know, it's their way sometimes of going, ow, so
sure.
It's, they can't say ow.
Yeah. Or they can't push your hand away or anything,
right.
Exactly. It's so true. And again, even though your dog wasn't a biter yesterday, doesn't mean that he can't bite you today, based on what we're talking about. Something may have happened. He might not be feeling good, whatever. I'm glad you pointed out picking up a dog, Ant, because a lot of, we have to pick up dogs all the time. And I forget the dog's name, but we got that one shepherd mix. Forget his name. But anyway, he hates being picked up. Good for everything else. You can bathe this dog. You can do his ears. You can clip his nails. And he will not bite you. But you go to pick him up, and he's coming around. He does not like being picked up. So, we tend to muzzle him. But sometimes we don't have time. We just kind of pick him up. But it's like a two-person job. Like, I will man his head. I will kind of like take his focus off of Anthony picking him up. And I'll guide his head. And you pick him up real quick. And he doesn't try, as long as you're kind of attentive to him, he doesn't try. It's weird. But a lot of times if we have extra time, we'll throw a muzzle on him. When we use basket muzzles too, guys. I hate some of the muzzles out there are ridiculous. Never wrap a dog's muzzle. I mean, it's just.
I don't like that at all.
Yeah. We use basket muzzles, and they kind of just, they almost look like a horse feeder kind of muzzle where it just goes over their muzzle and they can breathe, they can pant. It snaps in the back of the neck there so that, there's no discomfort or constricting the dog's muzzle. You got to be really careful with that, man. A dog, if you put on like a Velcro muzzle too tight, you will prevent that dog's ability to breathe. So you got to be very, very careful with what type of muzzles you do. We only use basket muzzles, and or sometimes we even use like the Elizabethan collar or dogs that we don't. It just creates that. If you check out some of our videos, if you go to Grooming by Rudy on YouTube and check out some of our videos, we have a video where we kind of use an Elizabethan collar where, we're creating a little barrier between the muzzle and my hand or whatever. But don't use the wrap muzzles in any capacity.
I don't like those at all. I don't like anything that, and I haven't done the research on it, but just in looking at it, it can't be good.
Yeah.
Put a piece of tape over your mouth and then see how worried you get if anything comes near your nose, because now you can't breathe. You
Absolutely.
know what I mean? So no.
I have seen dogs freak out with, Velcro muzzles. I don't, because listen, you're taking away the dog's ability to breathe. Yeah. It can't breathe. So the dog instantly goes into panic mode.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Forget about biting you. You're going to kill this dog.
Exactly. And you don't know how bad it could really be. We have a big golden doodle, one of our favorite dogs. His name is Goldie. And when he was younger, he was hit by a car. Yeah. And thank God he survived, but he was in bad shape. His
muzzle was shattered.
His muzzle was completely shattered, and he had to get a complete reconstructive surgery on his muzzle. Yeah. I'll be damned if I'm going to wrap that dog's muzzle. And I don't know what his nasal passage is like right now. He might not be breathing through his nose at all. As a matter of fact, I believe that one of his nostrils doesn't even work anymore. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to wrap that dog's mouth shut. God, he's not going to be able to breathe. Yeah. You never know. And as a groomer, don't just assume that something like that didn't happen to one of your customers' dogs. You never know. You just never know. Go with the safe bet. Those open muzzles are so much better. And the Elizabethan collars are a great alternative or a great add-on to use along with the muzzle.
Sure.
Just to protect your hand and honestly protect the dog. It kind of blocks what they're seeing a little bit too, making them less nervous 9 out of 10 times.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a good point. Yeah. It's just a lot of times you will see people do this and it's like, man, listen, you guys have no idea. You can cause this dog to have a heart attack, no less too. It can't pant. It can't breathe.
Yeah. So. And if you're not going to put it tight, then what's the point anyway? Because you know what I mean? So don't use those. I mean, that's my opinion. They can't be good for them. I never liked those muzzles. Those just seem a little inhumane and a little way too risky. You don't mess with the dog's breathing.
Exactly. Be careful when using muzzles. But okay, so now that we've talked a little bit about dogs that may bite for a certain reason, it's not to be confused with a dog that just is showing all-out aggression, okay? This is the case a lot of times, too. You take a dog in, and this dog, forget about, biting because, you touched its feet or something. This dog just wants to attack you just because it's just terrified. It doesn't like its environment. Listen, if a groomer out there chooses to push that forward, chances are you're going to get bitten up. You know what I mean? So my take on that is, listen, if a dog is just showing all-out aggression, you need an alternative grooming process for that dog. And it's a judgment call. You got groomers out there that'll say, hey, there hasn't been a dog that I can't groom. Okay, that might be true. But, is it the best thing for the dog or you? Are you getting bitten up to groom that dog? Is that dog putting you out of commission for the next 2 weeks because it bit you up bad enough? Are you causing that much stress to that dog where you're forcing the grooming upon him? Don't do that. Don't do that. You should seek alternative means. Go to the vet. Try something else. Maybe you can get a mild sedation on the dog and try it that way. Or listen, it could become a case where it's like you shouldn't be grooming that dog. It's just too aggressive. It's just too nervous. And I'm sorry, but you got to protect yourself as groomers too. Maybe it's a thing where maybe the dog just has to go under anesthesia and get groomed that way.
I'm sure there's some cases that are that severe.
There are. We've seen it here.
Yeah, and you don't, we're a team, and shout outs to Go Groomer on YouTube, Amy. She's a great channel, another great grooming channel. Go check her out if you want to see some good grooming videos like ours. She said in one of her videos the other day that we're a team, and I love that quote. The groomer, the pet owner, and the pet. We're a big team. Now, with that being said, in a situation that you were just talking about, part of being a team is knowing when to call it. Just because we're a team doesn't mean force the issue. That's actually calling it off is just as much of a team move as completing the actual grooming. As the groomer, you have to know when this dog isn't having it. It's not worth stressing the dog out and hurting the dog in any way. And sometimes you have to try something different. And sometimes that different thing is simply going to a different groomer, because dogs, you have to try everything. Dogs, we've had dogs come in who apparently they were super aggressive and the other groomer couldn't get near them, and they bring the dog here and it turns out the dog didn't like winning or something like that. That's know, or their setup, they kept the dogs too close together or something like that, and the dog doesn't like other dogs. Or
vice versa. We've had dogs come in here. Apparently the dog may have been, you don't know, maybe the dog was abused by a man and the dog wants nothing to do with man. We send them over to we have another groomer in the area here that we send a lot of business to, and she's fine with the dog, and it's like, we'll get feedback and say, yeah, the dog wasn't that bad, blah blah blah, he just didn't like this, but I was able to groom him. Okay. And so the team extends even further, as we always talk about. It's the industry. You need to communicate with other groomers. Maybe you're not the right groomer because of that reason. You're a man, or maybe just your process is different. Things like that. That's why it's so important that we're talking about this stuff. We love doing the podcast. We love doing our grooming channel because there's just more information now than ever. So we're really bringing it all together here so that, again, the goal here is, how do we better the experience for the dogs, for the pets? It's important to learn some stuff at home. All too often we get people that just don't do anything at home to teach the dog or the puppy about the grooming process. They won't even brush it. And then they come in and it's like, okay, the dog is like 8 months old now. It's full coated. It's completely matted. And now, we're expected to do this really in-depth grooming on the first try. Yeah. Where if you're watching some videos, whether it's our channel or someone else's channel on YouTube, you get some pointers, you get some brushing pointers, you get, how to introduce your puppy to a slicker brush, or how to introduce your puppy, to a nail clipping, and you learn, that's the big thing nowadays. Just learn. You got YouTube, you got all these avenues that we can look towards. And even as the pet owner, you should be picking up some grooming skills and start your dog on the way. This way, when you do bring the dog to a groomer, the dog already knows, oh, yeah, that's a brush, and I'm okay with that.
The industry is pretty much at the point now where it's becoming no excuse to not do some research before picking a breed to get, because there's just so much information out there. And even if you're not sure what breed you're going to get yet, there are channels out there like ours. Like, there is so much information out there that you should know what you're getting into when you're picking a dog. If you don't have the financial means to keep up with a dog that requires extensive grooming, then don't get that breed of dog. I don't care how much you like that breed, and I don't care what celebrity bought that breed. That celebrity has a lot more money than you. Right. And they could afford to have that dog groomed every month. But if you don't make a lot of money, I'm not saying that makes you a bad dog owner, but make it easier on yourself and the dog. If you just don't have the financial means, then don't get a high maintenance dog. Go with a short coated dog, so that it just makes it easier. Because like you said, there's some people who will their dog doesn't even know what a brush is and it's a year old. Now you're just expecting a magic trick. Good luck.
I had a client come in last Saturday. Can you take my dog today? It's a puppy. I said, what kind of puppy is it? It's a Wheaten Terrier. Okay, well, this is an extremely high maintenance dog, right? And I said, I'm sorry, I can't do it today. And she said, well, we're really looking to get it done today. I said, I just don't have the time. It's a Saturday. We're very busy. I look outside. It's not a puppy. I looked in the car. It was like a 70-pound Wheaten Terrier bouncing from window to window, biting at the glass. That's not a puppy, A puppy is a 3-month-old, not an 11-month-old when it comes to grooming.
Right, exactly. And something tells me that dog doesn't know what a brush is.
Exactly.
Have you at least been showing them a brush? No, I bet not.
Right. So again, is that dog more likely to probably try to take your face off? Absolutely. It is. You know what I mean? So again, you got to just kind of, we really have to pull together on this. Nobody, we don't want to get hurt. Groomers get hurt a lot, man. I was bitten severely early on in my grooming career by no less a golden retriever. I was bathing a golden retriever that did not like its rear being touched at all. So the dog was sitting down, and, of course, I'm bathing the dog. I started off as a bather, and, I went to lift the dog up to scrub its butt, and man, the dog came around and had my tiny little hand in its humongous mouth. It seemed like an eternity. He didn't let go of me. And the longer my hand was in his mouth, the harder he was biting down, and yep. to the point where I was, you go into shock,
Oh no, I'm getting bit bad.
Yeah, exactly. Shakira would, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I had to kind of pry the dog's mouth open to get it off my hand. And, man, it broke skin. It crushed my hand. Again, it makes you think twice, man. It's like, is this what's going to happen to me? Because, but again, if, let's say I knew that, I could have put a comfort muzzle on the dog, maybe even asked for help, assistance, pick the dog up, scrub the rear real quick, you know what I'm saying? Do a quick job, rinse it down, problem solved, you know what I'm saying? Where, even if the dog did come around, he wouldn't have got me, and, we're getting the job done. It's I couldn't do it without you. I think every groomer needs an assistant. It helps in preventing to get bitten. It really does.
I think there are so many aspects of grooming that require two people.
Yes.
In the long run anyway. A lot of things can be done with one person, but most of the grooming process could be done safer with two people.
Yeah. How many times we've had a dog, Anthony, that just hates its nails being clipped, but you hold it and it lets me do it.
Yeah.
When you hold the dog, you know what I mean?
That is like a daily thing. Not every dog, but at least a dog a day I hold. Especially when they're a little bit smaller. Now it's, I'll just hold you, I'll pet you, and they're not paying attention to nearly as much to what you're doing. Yeah. And it just helps.
We got that little Chihuahua. I think his name is Pino or something like that. And he hates his nails being clipped. Anthony holds him and kind of tucks his head into his shoulder. And it's almost like you're drawing blood. And he as long as he's not seeing me clip his nails, he's fine.
Yeah,
and
he buries his head.
He buries his head into your shoulder, and you just kind of hold him. And then I clip his nails, and he lets me do it. And that's again, we just know him, where if he's on the table and I try to clip his nails, forget it. He's coming around like a maniac. He just, he's trying to get me. But, you hold his little head and he loves you, and like he hates me, because when I finish clipping his nails, he looks at me like, and I go, Pino, it's okay. And he just tucks his head back into you. He wants no part.
A lot of dogs love me.
Oh, God. Anyway. Why don't we're going to keep this one short and sweet. I don't even know our time here. But anyway, let's go to a break and we'll come. We have the funny comment section. I don't know if I mentioned that up front, but we do have a funny comment. I don't know how funny it is. It's more, I don't know how to take this one, but we're going to let you know when we come back. We'll sum up the show and we'll read it off and leave it to you guys when we come back on Groomer Humor.
My dog, Mojo, was half beagle and half coonhound. He ate everything in sight. He would swallow things whole, including a chicken carcass, a bird nest with a bird in it, and assorted stones and sticks. We had to take him to the veterinary emergency room. After surgery, Mojo had skin issues. He was constantly itching and scratching, chewing on his feet, and chewing the hair right off of his legs, being irritated, lethargic, and just not the same dog.
DINOVITE.com.
When we put him on the Dinovite, he took right to it. All of these symptoms disappeared.
Dinovite is nutrition.
If you want the dog to be healthy, you got to feed it something healthy.
Something that he actually likes to eat. You need to put him on Dinovite.
Dinovite for life.
If you love your dog, you don't just want him healthy, you want him to be happy.
You won't believe how happy your dog will be.
DINOVITE.com.
Let's talk pets.
Let's talk pets
On Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back to Groomer Humor on Pet Life Radio. We are your host. I'm Anthony Ray, along with my dad, Rudy V, and we're talking about two things today. Number one, getting bit. Number two, Shakira. Yeah, apparently she's been popping up, the real Shakira. She's been popping up in our show. She's just here behind us, just kind of popping up and saying her 2 cents every once in a while. But, yeah, so we're talking about getting bit. It happens. There's things you could do to make it not happen. And that's pretty much what the show has been about, where we've been sharing a couple of stories about when we maybe didn't do something correctly that led to us getting bit. In your case, not knowing that the golden had the potential to latch onto you and see red like that. So, you didn't put a soft muzzle on. And, and in my case, given that Karen Terrier the benefit of the doubt, because he's licking me, I feel I was more deceived than you in your situation. But still, nonetheless, you really shouldn't be putting your face in dogs' faces too much. I didn't know that dog as well as I should have to really trust that he wasn't going to bite me right in my cheek. So it's going to happen one way or the other. Once in a while, but there's definitely things that you guys can do to definitely limit that. And if you do get bit with some of the things that we've talked about in this episode, it won't be that bad. Soft muzzles, Elizabethan collars, do little things like that. And as the customer, keep your groomer informed. If something has happened to your dog, even if it's a slight little thing, a little stumble off the couch, you got hardwood floors, that's the most common thing right there. Dog freaks out, jumps off the couch, and, pops something out of place or something like that. Little things like that. Let your groomer know if you remember when you drop off. Hey, she took a little spill a couple days ago. I think she's fine, but she was favoring that leg a little bit for a couple of minutes. Just be careful, And as groomers, if you do have an apprentice, talk to each other too. Same kind of communication. If you're prepping the dog and you're about to hand it off to your bather, if you noticed anything, the dog kept sitting when I lifted his tail to do the sanitary clip. The dog kept pulling away on the right leg when I was going for the pad. Let your bather know that, hey, something might be up with the butt area or something might be up with that left leg, that right leg. It's going to save you a lot in the long run. It's going to, again, make the dog safer. Safety, safety, safety. That's our motto here. It's going to make the dog safer, and it's going to make you safer because, remember, dogs can't say ow, and sometimes, unfortunately, a dog might give you a little nip as a way of saying, wow, that really hurt me. It's not really, doesn't mean it's a vicious dog, but that's really the main point. Just be careful. Listen to some of the things that we're saying, because I guarantee you, if you do what we're saying, it will at least limit the amount of times that hopefully, maybe never. That would be great.
Exactly.
That's the main goal, really. But
right. And not to scare anybody out of being a dog groomer or anything like that, because here's the thing too, guys, it really doesn't happen all that often. And if you're careful, it happens even less. Yeah. So, definitely just be careful and use a few cautionary tactics here.
Sorry, our producer's messing.
Oh, man. I love Mark.
Oh, man.
As we're talking, oh, God.
Oh, God.
God, she's beautiful.
Yeah.
Mark is posting pictures on our screen of Shakira.
From the show. That's great. Well, now she really is here.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
She's Aquarius, guys, just so you know.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. She's Aquarius.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mark.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. Now we're not even lying. Shakira really is here.
Oh, my God. And anyway, so thanks. That's a perfect summation there by Anthony. Be careful. Try not to get bitten. If you do, it's part of the job. Hopefully it's not that bad. So let's get to our comment.
I'm a professional.
This came off of the Groomer Humor. So this isn't even off of the Grooming by Rudy on YouTube. This came to us through Groomer Humor. And I like this one because it says, we listen to your podcasts. You guys are very funny. I have to say, your teeth are crooked, but they're not that bad. So thank you. I guess it's a compliment, but like, couldn't you just have said, like, your teeth aren't that bad? Like, did you have to confirm the crooked part?
Yeah, I guess they could have cleaned that up a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, thank you, though.
It's a thank you, but...
yeah, like, God.
Yeah,
like your teeth are crooked. And, like, that means that here's the thing, though, because we don't really have a whole lot of pictures on Pet Life of us. That means, like, you went on to YouTube and you saw my teeth.
Right.
Like, yes, your teeth confirmed. Your teeth are crooked, but they're not that bad.
Yeah, it's a compliment with a little bit of a unintentional jab up top. Yeah. They are crooked, but they're not that bad.
They're not that bad. Just, like they've seen worse. Like, I've seen worse, not that much worse, but yeah, I've seen worse.
Yeah, right. You're not bottom of the barrel, but
Yeah. Well, anyway, again, just thank you. I'm going to take it as a compliment. I'm going to say thank you for that. I appreciate that.
You know what? At least they're watching our videos and they're listening to our show, I guess. Because you know what? That's an avid fan right there. For them to know how much you talk about your teeth and them to look through our videos, because not all of our videos use your face there. A lot of our videos sometimes just have your hands doing the grooming, and it's a tutorial. So that means they really watch a lot of our stuff.
They do, and thank you for that. I don't like the new thumbnail, though, on the can you pop a dog's eardrum? I hate my teeth in that one. I'm smiling way too hard,
Nah, you look good.
No. And my one tooth, it's really weird. I don't know. It's like off angle. It's kind of my teeth, like when you look at somebody in the mirror and their face looks crooked.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, my face looks like that without looking in the mirror. Like just looking at me, I got crooked teeth, like slanted. I don't know. Tom Cruise, whatever.
You got the perpetual mirror crooked tooth.
Yes, I got
would be the best way to.
Anyway, guys, thanks for checking out another episode here. We really appreciate you guys tuning in and listening to us.
Yeah, thank you so much for stopping by, guys. As always, we'd like to thank our producer, Mark Winter. Thank you so much, Mark. If you haven't already, head on over to our YouTube channel. It's called Grooming by Rudy. That's Grooming by Rudy on YouTube.com. Leave a comment, like, share, subscribe. We want to hear from all you guys. You could also like Grooming by Rudy on Facebook, follow Grooming by Rudy on Instagram and Twitter. It has been an absolute pleasure, as always. Until next time, take care of yourselves and your pets.
Let's Talk Pets, every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.